Hey, Chief.
Hey, Cyrus, what are we going to talk about now?
Well, last time we talked a little bit about the logistics of making a comic book, but I thought it was also important to talk about the fun parts of making a comic. So, what's the most fun part about making a comic for you?
Well, I think the most fun part is to explore what goes on inside me as a creator or a writer or an artist.
Sure.
And I've gone from very early on in my high school days of just kind of drawing comic books with my friends to read and kind of get a good laugh. And coming off just really enjoy that aspect, seeing people enjoy, your work. To now, I would say when I create a comic book, I'm trying to push my own limits.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do a little bit more, each time in terms of either writing or art. So I kind of refine myself as a not just a creator or an artist, but as a person. Because a lot of it is exploring inside of you. What is it that wants to come out?
Right, makes sense. One of the few comics that you've made, I would say, would be Simpleton High.
Yes.
That sort of reflected your younger years. Right?
Yes. More my rebellious years.
Right.
Simpleton High being a very non-politically correct comic book.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Yeah.
Yes.
But that was kind of the comedy tone at the time. When you look at when South Park was coming out, American Pie.
Right.
Stuff like that, which is a little bit more rauchier. They didn't care about holding back what they have to say. And that's kind of the mindset when creating Simpleton High.
Right, makes a lot of sense. With some of your other comics that you've been working on, I would say a lot of it is a product of your thought period, your thought process, and then also your age and sort of your experience.
Oh, yes, definitely. And you talk about Captain China was something that the idea really came about in my 30s.
Right.
As well as Simpleton High, which is in my teens and my 20s. The thought process of how you approach a book is drastically different, And I would say, if I were doing Captain China in my 20s, it would not be the way it is.
Sure.
The approach would be probably a little bit more superficial. Because when you're younger, you're more about I just want to draw comic books and it's exciting. But as you go there, you kind of become a little more reflective. Okay, what is it that I understand that I want to get these ideas across to people?
Sure, absolutely.
But at the same time, like I said, I've went from wanting to do stuff for myself to say, okay, I want to do something for people out there who wants to find something different or interesting to read.
Right. One of the things I really love about comics is that it really can be a really serious medium.
Yes.
To be able to address a lot of complex questions.
Oh, yes.
I think that because it's so visual, you can convey things in a way that's far more special than, let's say, novels or another medium.
Oh, yes, definitely.
I really do appreciate all the different kinds of ideas that can be explored and the ways in which these different characters can be embodied. Because now suddenly you can make a character and they can look however you want them to look.
Well, I think the greatest advantage of the comic book is that you can decide the visual of a character.
Sure.
As opposed to writing a novel, you have to use a lot of words to describe. Let's just even the detective novel. Here's Jim coming in, wearing his fedora hat, and a long, ruffled trench coat, and with his shoes untied. You have to write all of that just to get a single image across. But in a comic book, you draw it and it's there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of the beauty of it.
Yes. So I think comics are a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed, just getting more into the industry and just being able to participate. On top of that, I really feel like there's a lot of great opportunities to be able to meet people through social media and through, physical gatherings like, conventions or whatever. I think the community is very interesting. People are very passionate about what they're interested in, and they're always looking to share it with other people and to really master whatever they are a big fan of.
Oh yeah, people, because the reason they want to share it with people is that here's an idea I have, and when you're sharing it, you kind of want to get that approval, whether from your peers or from whoever you want to show it to.
Exactly.
And if it's a positive, feedback you get, it kind of propels you to want to do more. And that is also the part of the creation process, is that you can't just create something. Because I've met artists who are like, oh, I'm creating a comic book. Well, what you got? I can't show it to you. I can't show it to you. And I think that's not the right attitude.
Sure.
Because when you put it out there, at the end, you still have to put it out there for people.
Eventually,
yeah. And having a feedback, whether it's good or bad or negative, positive, it's all going to contribute to your own growth.
That's exactly
as a creator,
right.
And it's absolutely true.
Well, it's just amazing how stories change from the initial idea to the final implementation when you put it out there.
Oh yeah,
because it's not going to look the same. Just plain and simple.
Oh, yeah.
Logistical reasons, and then also just the process of you drawing it out and making it just changes how it's going to come out. And it's just amazing seeing something come to fruition.
Well, it's kind of what I said. It's a self-exploration process. You have an initial idea, okay, but then as you start digging into even your own ideas, you find, okay, this is something I didn't think about before. So you go from step 1 to step 2, and then suddenly 100 steps later, what you start initially and what you end up is drastically different. And sometimes it's a very enjoyable process. Yes. Sometimes it's a very painful process.
Yes, but it's all necessary to make a quality book. And then on top of that, too, it's something that you're creating that's permanent.
Yes.
And so once it's out there, suddenly you made your own stamp on the world, and people can see that.
Yes.
And you have a credit to your name. All of that is pretty special. And
I think it is, but I think ultimately at the end is that you just have to be proud of what you do. Whether it's successful or failure, you put it out there. Another interesting thing about the comic book industry from my observation is that you could put out something out there that's not received well and nobody cares, but sometimes a year or two later, or maybe even longer than that, it suddenly catches fire. And you have people suddenly flocking to her and say, "Wow, I love your work." There are times, yes, you can catch that lightning in a bottle right away. But sometimes with comic book, if it's good, if you're talented, if you're smart, you got some great ideas, it'll get discovered at one point or another along the way. Absolutely. Like, don't ever feel discouraged when you say, "Oh, I put that out and nobody cares."
Right.
But down the line, you may, your first work, whatever it is, may not catch that excitement. But down the line, 3 or 4 later on, as your process get refined, you put out something, then it could finally, hit big.
Sure.
And then people want to go back and see what you've done before.
Exactly.
So it's never, unnecessary work or
nothing's ever wasted.
Yeah, fruitless labor. It's not possible in the industry.
Precisely. And so ultimately, as long as you're willing to put in the work and really make it a labor of love, I think that comic books are a fantastic industry to participate in, but then also to be a fan of. So it's, I think it's a fantastic place to be.
Sure, it always is. In terms of the entertainment industry, movies, TVs, novels, writing children's books and all that, I think comic book is the easiest one to implement crazy big ideas and be and accepted very easily by audiences out there. So it's the real fun is, okay, what can I do to get some of the ideas out there, refine yourself in the process, refine your comic book in the process, and maybe become, well known for it.
Absolutely. All of those things are fair.